Hello, my guitar playing friends. I'm excited to work on this song today. I think it's a great song for beginning, but there's also a lot in there for intermediate and more advanced players. And it's the phenomenal song, Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers. I'm sure you're familiar with it. I hope you are. Give it a listen. I love this song because it has a riff at the beginning, a short, repetitious, kind of iconic part of the song that we all associate with the song. And then it also has great chord strumming for us. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now I'm putting one version of the riff up right now that's a little more simple. We're going to try it, and then we're going to add a couple of little touches that Bob Marley throws in there. You can see that I wrote the tab for this, and I also wrote the rhythm for those of you who are reading rhythm a little bit these days. At least I wrote it for the first half of the riff because it kind of repeats after that. If you are not sure of the rhythm and not sure how to read rhythm, listen to the song and get it in your ear. We should all do that anyway. So let me play you this opening riff, okay? I'm going to play it once without the ornaments that Bob Marley puts in. We'll add those later. 1, 2, ready, play. Very catchy, very fun to play. Not too bad because it's all on the 4th, 5th, and 6th strings. Notice that I am playing it with my 1st and 2nd fingers right here. I'm not using 2nd and 3rd. You could use 2nd and 3rd. However, I'm thinking of a G chord. And then, because the riff is basically centered around a G chord at the beginning, and then the second part of the riff, they move this way, because it's kind of centered around a C chord after that. However, since we don't really need this finger, instead of fingering the C chord this way, I'm doing it this way. So again, starting on 2nd finger, and just using those 2 fingers. I did a computer version of the riff and just did not like the way it looked, so I just hand wrote it out again. So I hope it's clear for you. So take a moment, practice that riff a little bit, maybe watch me playing it up to speed and more slowly like I just did, and I hope it goes well for you. I want to go ahead and add in the little ornaments that Bob Marley throws in there. So I'm going to put that up here now. It's the same music, I just slightly altered it to put in what are called some grace notes. What is a grace note? It is a little note that we put on kind of onto another note as a decoration. For instance, instead of playing this note, I'm going to play this note. I'm going to play it like this. You see how it was just like a quick hammer-on? You might want to review hammer-ons and pull-offs from the beginning section if you haven't, or sorry, I think that's in the more advanced section, if you haven't looked at those yet. But a grace note is something that we really don't give it rhythmic value in a measure because it's so short. Of course it does take up time and rhythm, but it just looks weird to write it out. So we just usually put a tiny little note in front of another note, just as if literally like it's a decoration on a Christmas tree. We're just kind of hang it on another note. And so you can see that I just added some little hammer-ons to what the original riff was here. So let me play it for you the new way. I'll do it up to speed and then a little more slowly. Ready, play. Cool, huh? He just adds a little bit of finesse to it, adds a little bit of interest. It's pretty cool. I would consider it optional though. If you're not really comfortable putting those in, don't do it yet. Just work on getting the original riff very, very solid. Okay, with your good pick. I would play this with the pick, although you could do it with thumb. Honestly, it'd be fine with the thumb too. So I would advise you to do whatever you're comfortable with, but the pick does get that sound that we're going for if you want to sound a little more like the recording. But whatever you're comfortable with. That's the important thing, is to get the notes and the rhythm solid. You'll notice that those grace notes I did, as mentioned, were all hammer-ons. you can almost just pretend like your finger is a little late getting to where it needs to be. For instance, the first 3 notes without the grace note. But then if I add the grace note, it's almost like this one just arrives a little late, later than the pick. Did you see that? Okay, so that's what's happening in all of these grace notes, is it's as if the pick is on time and the finger is a little behind. So add them in as you are comfortable. I'll play it one time a little more slowly all the way through with the grace notes or ornaments. Ready, play. I hit some extra strings at the end too, because it sounds like he does that a little bit on the recording, if you want to try it. Great. So again, not to repeat myself too many times, but make sure rhythms and notes are solid before you worry about anything about ornaments. But I want to give you that option. Use the pick, use the thumb, what you're comfortable with. Let's flip over to the chords now, because this may be even more relevant for you. You get to put some of those chords and strum patterns in action on this song. Yay. So look at the verse of the song. By the way, the song has a verse and a chorus. That's the basic form of the song, the 2 main parts of the song, the verse and the chorus. They share most of the same chords in common, as you can see. There is one chord here that you probably have not seen before, and it is in the 3rd measure of the verse. It is called G over B. Just for a moment, I want you to ignore it and pretend that it is simply a G chord. All right? We are going to use our strum pattern number 4. You can use whichever version of G you like to use better on this. So just use whichever one you're comfortable with. I'm going to use just this beginning one here that we've learned. And I'm going to play it through for you. Notice that the first line we actually play 3 times in this song. Okay? So I'm going to play through this whole verse for you one time. And you can join me. Once you work on it, you can back the video up and join me right now. We're going to go just a little bit slower than the actual song. 1, 2, ready, play. Down, 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 down. The 3rd time. You can feel it building up to the chorus, can't you? One thing I forgot to mention is that in measure 3, where we have that G chord, we are changing our strum pattern there. When we have a measure of 4/4, it takes up 1 time through our strum pattern number 4. Our down, down, up, down, up. That's 4 beats. Down, down, up, down, up. We are splitting a measure there between 2 chords. Typically what we will do is we will simply play downs when we do that, meaning 2 on the C and then 2 on the G. And you saw me do that, okay? That would be a very common practice, having a strum pattern, but then when the chords change a little more quickly, we will change it just a little bit, usually simplifying it. So before we go on to the chorus, let's talk about what that G over B means. You will see this symbol a lot, and it literally means G over B. The first letter is the chord. That's why you could simply play G if you want to. Works great. So what the heck does the B mean? Well, G chord over B. B is the bass note. Bass note simply means the lowest pitch that is being played. When we're playing a G chord, what typically would be the bass note? Don't think too hard about it. Typically it would be G. A G chord, we play G as the bass note. But whenever we switch the bass note to something else, we usually label it like this. And that's what happens here. Now, why is Bob Marley playing a G over B instead of just a G there? Well, it's kind of cool. Check it out. If I start on the C chord before it, what he does is he kind of plays that C. Instead of just going down, down, he hits just the root or bass note, not root note, but it's the same in this case, and then he hits the chord. So he goes like this. Okay? Then in the next chord, G over B, he takes the C down to a B right here, and he puts his pinky here on this G, and now he plays the B. He doesn't play the full G chord. So what he does is he plays the B in the bass, and then he hits the whole chord. And then look at our next chord, A minor. So if I just play C chord, G chord, A minor chord, I get this. Sounds great, right? But if I use those bass notes, I get this. C, B, A. Do you see how I got what's called a walk down? I got a bass note walk down, meaning the bass notes went 3 notes in order stepping down. That wouldn't happen if you played a G in the bass instead of the B. 9 times out of 10 in guitar, when you see the symbol of something over something, G over B, D over F sharp, something like that, it is because there's a walk down or a walk up happening. So watch out for that. It's pretty cool. Again, it's optional right now, but as you get more comfortable with it, you might throw it in. What will it sound like in the context? Well, like this. Here's the first line of the verse. Ready, play. Pretty cool, huh? Did you notice when I got to the A in measure 4, I played strum pattern 4, but the first down of the down, down, up, down, up pattern was simply me hitting the bass note there. So it was still down, down, up, down, up, but the first down was simply the open 5th string on A. Okay? So, quick review, whenever you see like G over B, if you're not used to playing that, you're not comfortable playing it, just pay attention to the first letter. That tells you the chord. You'll be good. But if you want to try this more advanced guitar playing where you're walking a bass down or up, you can try this technique of hitting the bass note and then the rest of the chord. It's very cool. So let's look down to the chorus now. It's not particularly hard. We are going to do strum pattern 1 in the first measure, and then in the second measure you can see that we split the measure again between a C and a D chord. So we will do down, down on C, and then down, down on D. Let's do it. Here's the chorus. 1, 2, ready, play. Back to the verse. Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. And so forth, okay? So I'm not going to give you a play along video because I want you to play along with Bob Marley. And I'd advise you to maybe go on YouTube and change the playback speed to 0.75 of the original speed, and you can try to play along with him using this. Now, is every single one of your strums going to match his? No, because he's just keeping his hand going up and down, and his strum pattern is slightly going to change periodically. That's a theme we'll come back to, is that strum patterns, I'm giving you a great way to do it in a very orderly way, but a lot of times when people are strumming and singing, they alter things, they change things. They get the overall idea that you can just keep your hand going up and down and make a good rhythm. So, but I will give you a clear, concise way to play it that will work great. And then if you're playing along with the recording and you think, oh, he hits a down up down there and I just hit a down up, don't worry too much about it. Although if you want to try to emulate them exactly, highly encourage you to do that. But that would take going through and almost writing in every measure, because they're just going to slightly, subtly change it each time. And they're probably not even going to play it exactly the same way twice. So we'll make sure you get the important stuff exactly right. And then you can kind of do your own thing with it as you get better with it, play along with the recording and so forth. So good luck working on a fantastic song with the riff, with the chords, Redemption Song. Oh, it's just great. Beautiful song too. And good luck.